In Mexico, two men are searching around an abandoned site. One of them, Manuel, steps onto a wooden floorboard, which breaks and reveals something underneath. He looks down and finds a flag. Wrapped inside the flag is a spear. As he examines it, he hears voices, quickly looks around, but sees nothing. He gets up to leave, and just as his friend calls out to him, he is struck by a vehicle moving at high speed. After the chaos of the incident, the young man walks out of the wreckage and begins to run. The scene then shifts to John Constantine as he enters a building. Earlier that day, a resident in that same building had been possessed by a demon, and Father Hennessy had called John to handle it. John walks into the room, performs his exorcism, and once he identifies the type of demon, he instructs the residents to bring him a 3-foot-long mirror. Meanwhile, John calls out to Chaz Kramer, who is sitting in the car outside, imitating John's mannerisms. John tells Chaz to move the car away from the spot. When the mirror is brought in, John orders the people to position it above the possessed girl and warns them to keep their eyes closed no matter what. One man grows too curious and opens his eyes, instantly aging. John then traps the demon inside the mirror and sends both the mirror and the demon flying out the window. After the exorcism, John steps outside for a smoke but notices something, a painting of the same spear from earlier. Later, John and Hennessy walk downstairs, unaware that someone is watching them. Next, we see a cop named Angela finishing a confession session. She speaks about never wanting to kill criminals, even though her job sometimes requires it, and admits she recently killed a man. After her confession, she goes home, freshens up, and falls asleep. As she sleeps, she dreams of a girl named Isabelle. Isabelle is in a psychiatric hospital and hears whispers calling her name. The whispers lead her upstairs to the roof. She lets go of her name tag, revealing a mark on her wrist, the same mark Manuel had. Isabelle jumps from the rooftop, crashes through glass, and falls into a pool, dying instantly. The dream jolts Angela awake. The next day, John visits the same hospital for a checkup. His X-ray results reveal that he has terminal cancer. He laments how he has spent his life fighting demons, only to be defeated by cigarettes. Meanwhile, Detective Angela arrives at a crime scene. With tears in her eyes, she pulls back the sheet covering Isabelle's face. Angela argues that Isabelle was pushed from the roof, but Detective Weiss counters that she jumped, claiming there is footage of the incident. Afterwards, Angela heads for the elevator and asks someone to hold the door, but John Constantine coldly refuses. The scene then cuts to Manuel, who, because of the spear, has gained supernatural powers. He approaches a fence and passes through it effortlessly. As he walks on, animals collapse one by one in his path. At home, John is visited by one of his colleagues, Beeman. Beeman brings some specialized tools for fighting demons, and when he asks John about the new case, John tells him about the demon he recently exorcised from a young girl. Beeman insists that demons cannot appear in the human plane in their true form and can only operate through the bodies they possess. John agrees but still asks him to look through the scrolls and check for any precedent. After their conversation, Chaz drives John to a location. During the ride, Chaz complains that John treats him like a slave, saying he is missing out on the action. John calmly responds that Chaz is more of an apprentice. What Chaz doesn't realize is that John is trying to protect him from a life burdened by the supernatural. John leaves Chaz behind and heads into a building, where he once again runs into Detective Angela. Angela goes to meet a priest, Father Garrett, while John meets with someone else, Angel Gabriel. As Gabriel and John talk, Angela has her own conversation with Garrett. She pleads for Isabelle to receive a proper burial, but Father Garrett denies her request, saying Isabelle committed suicide, a mortal sin, and adds that even the bishop supports this decision. Heartbroken, Angela looks over at John and Gabriel. Meanwhile, John pleads with Gabriel to grant him passage into heaven. Gabriel refuses, telling him that his methods of living hasn't been that of a holy one. John argues that he never wanted any of this in the first place, insisting that his ability to see supernatural things is a curse he was born with. Gabriel corrects him, calling it a gift, and tells him to continue his duties until his time is up. Gabriel reminds John that he has been smoking over 30 cigarettes a day since he was 16, that his life has been far from righteous, and concludes coldly, John will die, and he will go to hell.
And you're going to go to hell because of the life you took. You're fucked.
After the meeting, John storms out, muttering and cursing to himself as he walks into the rain, with Chaz calling after him. At home, Angela reviews security footage of Isabelle, desperately trying to find a clue. Just as she is about to lose hope, Isabelle's voice crackles through the footage, whispering the name Constantine. Meanwhile, John stops on the sidewalk, coughing violently. A man approaches and asks him for a lighter. As John reaches to hand it over, he is suddenly attacked by a grotesque bug demon.
Mind your business, exorcist!
After killing it, John heads to a bar run by Papa Midnight. Inside, he meets with Midnight, and they discuss John's deteriorating health before John shifts the topic. He explains that demons are starting to appear in the mortal realm without possessing hosts, recounting the demon that attacked him in public and another that was chewing its way out of a girl's neck. Midnight dismisses his concerns, saying many demons hate John because of the trouble he has caused them, but reassures him that demons cannot exist in the human plane without a host. John asks to use the chair, but Midnight refuses. He explains that not only would the chair almost certainly kill John, but he himself is neutral. So long as the balance between good and evil is maintained, he takes no sides. John insists something is wrong and that he can feel it. Their discussion is interrupted by Balthazar, who enters. John and Balthazar exchange bitter words that nearly turn violent, but Midnight intervenes and separates them. He sends John home while dealing with Balthazar. Back at home, John hears a knock at the door. It's Detective Angela, asking to speak with him. Though reluctant, John lets her in. Angela talks about her sister Isabelle, explaining that she fell to her death at the psychiatric hospital. Angela believes it was murder, not suicide. When John asks why, Angela explains that her sister was deeply religious. She also admits she investigated John and discovered his involvement in the supernatural and occult. She asks him to point her in the right direction. John coldly points to the door, signaling her to leave. Angela persists, saying her sister was a devoted Christian and that Christians who die by suicide are condemned to hell, where they suffer unimaginable torment. John still refuses to help, and Angela leaves in disappointment. But after a moment, John has a change of heart and decides to go after her. He catches up to Angela, and they begin discussing theories. John asks, what if God and the devil had a wager over human souls? They wouldn't interfere in human affairs directly, but they would be allowed to influence human behavior and actions to some extent. Angela asks why that would be the case, and John suggests, maybe it's for fun. Angela counters, is it fun when a man beats his wife to death? Or when a mother drowns her baby? And you think the devil is responsible?
People are evil, Mr. Constantine. People.
Angela concludes by saying it's been interesting talking to John, but she doesn't believe in the devil. John replies that she should believe, because the devil believes in her. Suddenly, strange things begin to happen. John spots a statue of the Virgin Mary and brings Angela there. He warns her to close her eyes, but she doesn't listen. Suit yourself, he says. After exorcising the demons, John notes that they weren't after him. He asks Angela if she truly believes her sister didn't commit suicide, and Angela says yes. They head to Angela's apartment, where she fills a bowl with water and arranges Isabelle's belongings around it. John prepares to find out whether Isabelle is in hell. When everything is ready, John holds Isabelle's cat, using it as a gateway, and tells Angela to leave the apartment. As soon as she does, time freezes, and John is transported to hell. He walks down a scorched road as demons stalk him from behind, trying to take a bite. John finds Isabelle, who calls out his name before letting go of her name tag and falling from a cliff. John manages to grab the tag, smashes a bottle of water, and returns to Earth. Angela re-enters and finds John smoking, his body still radiating heat. He confirms that Isabelle is indeed in hell, suffering torment, and also reveals that Isabelle was Angela's twin sister. The scene shifts to Hennessy, who sneaks into a morgue full of corpses. He finds Isabelle's body, and upon touching it, begins hearing voices that drive him mad. The voices grow louder until he flees into a nearby store. Desperate, he smashes bottles in an attempt to drink, but it doesn't help. Balthazar enters the store and amplifies Hennessy's torment, killing him. The story cuts back to Constantine and Angela. John confesses that he has always been able to see things normal people couldn't, ever since childhood. He recalls the time he died, only for 2 minutes, but to him it felt like 2 weeks in hell. He explains that his first death was due to suicide, which means his fate is sealed. Once he dies again, he will go to hell. He hopes, however, to find a way into heaven, and that's one of the main reasons he sends demons back. Their talk is interrupted when Angela gets a call. They rush to the store where Hennessy has just died. Detective Weiss concludes that Hennessy overdosed on alcohol. John inspects the body and finds something carved into Hennessy's palm, the same symbol Isabelle had. He calls Beeman, tells him about Hennessy's death, and describes the symbol, asking him to investigate. Afterwards, John demands to know where Isabelle died, and Angela takes him to the hospital. At the hospital, Angela talks about Isabelle and how she used to see things ordinary people couldn't. Angela asks if the symbol on Hennessy's hand has anything to do with Isabelle. John says it could be a clue and tells her to think about Isabelle, reminding her that they're twins, and twins often think alike. Angela tries to deny it, but John presses until she admits that, as children, they would leave each other messages, in light, in breath, and on windows. Angela exhales onto a window, and words appear, Corinthians 17. As they drive away, Angela insists that Corinthians only has 12 chapters. John reveals that according to the Bible of Hell, there are 21. Soon after, Beeman calls and explains the 17th act of Corinthians: the devil has a son. The prophecy says the end of the world will come when the devil's son enters earth and takes dominion over it. For this to happen, two conditions must be met. First, a woman with strong psychic ability, Isabelle, though now dead, and second, help from someone who works closely with God. As Beeman speaks, the machinery in his workshop activates on its own. Realizing his time is up, he fearfully says goodbye before the line cuts off. John senses trouble and urges Angela to drive faster. They arrive, but it's too late, Beeman is dead. Later that evening, Angela confesses that she too used to see things. She wants to work with John to solve the case, but he tells her to go home. He insists that denying her gift was the better choice, and staying with him will only bring her more trouble. Angela pushes back, saying demons killed her sister. She admits she abandoned Isabelle by pretending she couldn't see what Isabelle saw. Isabelle was forced to take medication for her gift, while Angela lost hers. Angela pleads with John to let her see what Isabelle saw. John warns her that once she opens herself to the gift, there will be no turning back. You see them, they see you. John takes her to the bathroom and submerges her in a bathtub filled with water. Angela struggles to breathe, but John keeps her under until time freezes and the tub bursts. Angela emerges, shaken, muttering about the suffering in hell. Her powers awaken, and she traces an aura back to Beeman's workshop, where she finds a coin. John recognizes it immediately. It belongs to Balthazar. John confronts Balthazar, and the two fight. John gains the upper hand and threatens to exorcise him unless he talks. At the last second, Balthazar confesses. Even though Isabelle is dead, Angela has awakened her gifts, and because of this she will bear the devil's son, who will conquer the world. John argues that it's impossible, demons can't exist in the human realm. But Balthazar counters that the spear of destiny has been found, and with its power, the devil's son will be born. Having heard enough, John shoots Balthazar. As they leave, a mysterious figure enters. Balthazar insists he upheld his end of the deal and begs the figure to grant his wishes. But the figure only watches as Balthazar disintegrates into dust. John and Angela head for the elevator, but before they can leave, Angela is taken. Enraged, John storms into Papa Midnight's bar and blasts open the door. Midnight fights him, pinning him against the wall. John accuses him of maintaining balance while others break the rules unchecked. He finally convinces Midnight to help. Midnight leads him into his storeroom, where John finally sits in the infamous chair. John takes off his shoes, and Midnight pours cold water on the floor. He reminds John that this is a dangerous move that could kill him, but John has already made up his mind. Midnight breaks a light bulb and jolts John, sending him into a vision that in the vision, John sees the Spear of Destiny and discovers that it has been taken to the hospital, where demons are waiting for Angela's arrival. When the vision ends, John and Chaz prepare to storm the place. Midnight says his prayers, and the duo leaves. At the hospital, Angela is dropped into a pool. As she struggles to regain control, she is attacked. She fires her gun, but her bullets do no damage. Meanwhile, John and Chaz arrive. John sends Chaz to one wing of the hospital while he takes the other. Chaz enters a room, shoots open a water tank, and drops a crucifix inside. John steps into a room filled with demons disguised as humans. He gives them one chance to leave, but when they refuse, he holds his lighter under a smoke detector, triggering the sprinklers. The crucifix has turned the water into holy water, and as it rains down, the demons begin to melt. John guns them down one by one. Meanwhile, Angela continues struggling in the pool. Just as she is about to drown, she is dragged into hell, where Mammon, the devil's son, possesses her. After clearing out the demons, John and Chaz rush into the pool room. John dives in, searching for Angela. But when she surfaces, possessed, she attacks him. She nearly drowns him before Chaz pulls her away, and together they drag her out. John performs an exorcism, but just as things start looking better, Angela screams in agony. They realize the demon is inside her womb, trying to emerge. John and Chaz chant together until the demon vanishes. Chaz, exhausted, tries to catch his breath, but then a force lifts him and slams him repeatedly against the ceiling and floor until he dies. Enraged, John summons the entity responsible, dragging it into the light. Gabriel appears, stomping on him. John realizes Gabriel has been working with Mammon to overthrow the world. Gabriel justifies herself by saying that humans commit evil, then ask for forgiveness, and God grants it too easily. She declares that it's time to change the rules, then blows John across the room and turns her attention to Angela. Gabriel calls Mammon back into Angela's body. As she prepares to stab Angela with the Spear of Destiny and complete the ritual, time freezes. We cut to John, who has summoned Satan by slitting his wrists with glass shards. They exchange words, and Satan boasts that he himself will come to claim John's soul when he dies. John shifts the topic, warning that Mammon is plotting to take over the world, with Gabriel's help. Satan dismisses him, but when John mentions the Spear of Destiny, Satan decides to see for himself. He arrives just in time to pull Angela out of the way before Gabriel can strike. Gabriel stumbles in Satan's presence. Satan tells her the world belongs to him, in due time. When Gabriel resists, Satan burns off her wings and casts her aside and also sends Mammon back to hell. Satan then turns back to Constantine and asks what he wants. John requests that Isabelle's soul be sent to heaven, and in exchange, Satan can have his. The devil agrees and drags the unconscious John toward hell. But the ground resists. A divine light shines down as God begins to lift John's soul to heaven. John flips Satan off as he ascends, driving the devil into a rage. Satan violently pulls John back, thrusts his hand into his body, and refuses to let him die. He rips the cancer out of John's lungs and disappears, declaring that John will live and prove his soul belongs in hell. John regains consciousness, walks over to Angela, and they reunite. Gabriel emerges from the water, taunting John to shoot her. Instead, he punches her and tells her she's been forsaken, now she'll know what it's like to be human, and he walks away. A few days later, John meets Angela on a rooftop. He hands her the Spear of Destiny and tells her to hide it somewhere no one, not even him, can find it. After their talk, Angela leaves. John opens a pack of gum, signaling his choice to live differently this time. Thanks for watching, don't forget to chew some gum and leave a like. Subscribe for more movie recaps and I'll see you in the next one.